Hello and welcome back to the biggest episode of Bunch of Nuts of the year. We have our best friend Blake on the show. It's Dan here at Cass. I just wanted to start the show. It's pretty big news. It's not the Michigan news. I'm just gonna go on the record. I said by the Hall of Fame game, I'm gonna say the this Friday because I forgot the classic Friday news dump coming. I'll say by Friday I think we're gonna have the Michigan news. I'm going out on a limb, but the big news is the Macoon. And I don't know if you gentlemen have seen the Macoon. Sickos committee came out today. It's a raccoon. It's the new mascot of the Mac. It's electric. And I just I think it's a great segue because Blake's here and he came out with his two articles, his summer articles. It's about football season when Blake comes out with these babies. And his first article is his top 25 teams. And there's nowhere better to start than with teams to watch than some MAC teams. So, Blake, my first question is: did any MAC teams make your teams to watch in your top 25?
I did not see any MAC teams to watch in my top 25, but I do think we could see a team like Toledo maybe make a playoff push if they can find it to be 11-1 or 12-0 running through that schedule. So I think any team in that neck of the woods is probably going to be the Toledo Rockets making a push for the playoff.
Hey, I mean, you had the Mac go to a raccoon. You had the American going to the Eagle. What about the American Athletic Conference?
I like that going to the American. I mean, Navy's a team that you can watch out there. Tulane, you see those kind of teams. I think that's probably where you're going to watch out of the American. I actually really like their rebrand. I got to look through the packet and everything. They did a good job with that. But
I
you
really
know,
like the schedule. If you look at their schedule,
right.
it's
It's
not.
favorable. They got a great quarterback. They return a lot of production. They're very physical. They're tough on both lines of scrimmage. So I like Navy actually to be a real playoff contender. I think they're my second team right behind Boise, actually, when I'm
I
looking at who I wanted to pick as the G5 team making the playoff.
I don't want to give anything away. I With Navy, my biggest thing is the defense because they lost their the leader of the unit, Colin Ramos. He's gone. So that's my biggest question for them. Will their defense be physical and everything still? Because he was that kid. He did everything for them. And if you watch the Army Navy, he was just flying around the field making plays. It's tough to replace a leader like that. Um, Blake, looking at your article, you did have some great picks on just teams to watch. Um, this is a team I think me and Cass agreed on during the ACC week was the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Oh
I love
yeah.
them at 6. I do question Baylor at 5. Could you make the case for Baylor for me? Because I'm out on Baylor, but I want to hear your take.
I had Baylor pretty high too.
I think you did too. I want to hear Blake's take because I'm out on Baylor right now.
I'm going to defer this to Cass first. Cass, what's your reasoning on Baylor? Because mine is a little bit different.
I think with Baylor, it's just for me, it's I don't know the roster. I don't know the schedule. It just feels like a Baylor year. Like Baylor's going to make some noise, kind of maybe not 2014 or 2000 22 TCU noise, but it's a team that does have some depth. I need to look more into them, but they're just sneaky. Every year, it's just like, okay, is Baylor going to be good? Is Baylor not going to be good? This just feels like they're like the Iowa of the Big 12, where every year they're sneaky, and this just feels like a Baylor team. I think I had them. If I look at my going back to my rankings real quick, I had Baylor right there at 6 at 8-4. Uh,
I mean,
so
Blake is high on Baylor. He has him at 9-3, strength of schedule of 30, key matchups: Auburn, SMU, Arizona State, Utah, a 9-3 record. It's that I mean, if you might be right, I don't know.
But
it
no,
just
it's
feels
it,
like that year. It just feels like Baylor's been slumping a little bit lately. It just feels like a year that they could really catapult.
yeah. I mean, Baylor's not been in the mix a little bit, but I think when you look at all these Big 12 teams, it's pretty much a coin flip when you're splitting all the hairs of,
Yeah.
this is the most competitively balanced conference in college football. I think it's clear that Arizona State's the favorite. Texas Tech has gotten most of the hype. coming into the season with all the oil money that they spent on their recruiting class. And then you have this pool of Utah, Baylor, TCU, teams like that. And it's who's going to break through? Is it going to be Kansas State? All these teams are going to be sitting there. It's like, all right, if this team beats this team or if that team beats that team, everything's so even in the Big 12. So I was looking at the schedule. I was projecting a little bit with Baylor. Auburn doesn't count against the conference record, so it won't affect their chances in Dallas.
Yeah,
But if you're
no,
sitting
no,
there,
I like that. That's
yeah,
smart.
it's just the way the schedule sets up for them in terms of where they playing their biggest games. I mean, they're home against Utah, they're home against Arizona State, and they're home against Kansas State. Their toughest game on the road in the conference is going to be at TCU. I think when you're looking at that setup, I'll take Baylor to win those coin flip games more than I would take a team that's got to go on the road and win those games because we know it can be tough on the road. And Baylor is going to return a lot on defense. They signed a couple transfers like Calvin Simpson-Hunt came over from Ohio State. We've got some guys on that defense. Dave Aranda took over some play calling last
Yeah.
year. I think it's just that time where the schedule sets up for them nicely. They're also going to get a nice benchmark game against Auburn first. It's going to be on a Friday night.
I forgot.
And they play SMU too.
They do play SMU the next week. I mean, they could start the season 0-2, and we could be like flaming me over here. Is like, what are we doing? Neither of those two games, are sitting there counting against the conference record. So tough out of conference for Baylor, but in conference, that team can go 8-1 in the conference and then still sit there at 9-3 at the end of the year if they do lose the first two games.
I feel like they're going to beat Auburn.
It's possible, but Auburn returns a lot too. I mean, they have got a good receiver unit. Hugh Freeze has got some urgency there. So we got to see what happens down there in Auburn because they're a team that's, again, stuck in a really crowded SEC. I mean, there's not a lot of room to wiggle out of the middle of that conference this year with that top end.
I just feel like if you really look at it, top to bottom, Big 12 is probably the weakest linked conference. Right. But however, it might be the funnest conference to watch this year.
I don't know if I'll say the weakest link, because I have them getting two teams in, believe it or not. I will say, I think a lot of the teams will cannibalize themselves though, because it's not very it's very top heavy. I think Arizona State's cream of the crop, and I have one other team in there. And I'm just hint, Blake. I'm gonna compliment this pick. I like teams to watch. Utah Utes you got there.
Yeah.
Put them at 23, 9-3 record, strength of schedule 38. Their key matchups, though, I love that they play UCLA. I think they should whop them, to be honest. Texas Tech and Arizona State, those are two massive games, but those are at home for them. And then they're at BYU, they're at Baylor, Kansas State's at home. Like the tough teams in that conference, they play at home. And then it's BYU and Baylor. Like I know you just made the case for Baylor. I'm not a believer in Baylor. And then I think BYU is going to be a little down this year because they obviously lost their quarterback and they had some transfers. I think UCLA, like out of those big games, UCLA and BYU should be wins. And then if they can win two of those games and they have it at home, they got Dampier. Like their problem is they just never had a quarterback in the most recent years. Now that they finally moved on from Cam Rising, if they just play Utah Utes football like they have in the past and they have competent QB play, I think they're going to be awesome this year. I'm going out on a limb there. But like this could be a Baylor situation where I get absolutely flamed for my Utah pick. So
here's the thing too, and Joel Klatt mentioned this on his podcast like a week or so ago. This could be it for Kyle Whittingham. So your pick with Utah is you guys' pick as Utah is one of the I have them ranked higher than Baylor in my Big 12 standings. But this could be, if this truly is Kyle Whittingham's final season, could Utah make a run for the playoffs? Make a run in the Big 12.
I think they can. You look at the schedule, that's the tough part when it comes to Utah. Just like I was saying with, all right, how am I splitting these hairs? You're looking at the schedule now that these conferences are a little bit bigger. It's not just a round robin, everybody play 9 games.
Yeah.
They've got, like you said, at UCLA, so that's a Big Ten opponent. They're going to win that game, I think, in my opinion.
I think they easily win.
At Wyoming is a tough non-conference game. I mean, that's not fun. Then you have Texas Tech. You're going to West Virginia. You're playing Arizona State. You're going to BYU. Then you're going to Baylor, Kansas State, and then at Kansas to close the year. I mean, that's a tough stretch. for Utah, but they have the roster to do it.
It's
And
not
in the Big
impossible
12,
though.
no, it's not
It's
impossible. They
not
can,
impossible. It's
yeah,
tough. Like my argument is like for the last year's Utah team, yes, that's a tough schedule. In the
right,
year before that, but if you get the team that if you get the Kyle Whittingham team that literally won the Pac-12 that shows up, that's that's nothing for them. Like
right.
that's a team that if the team that like made Caleb Williams cry shows up, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be great. They're gonna be awesome. It just depends on how tough they are, honestly.
Yeah, and I know Kenny Dillingham's a great coach at Arizona State, but if you're
Yeah.
looking at head coaching matchups here, we split these hairs in the Big Ten all the time. It's like Ryan Day versus James Franklin, or James Franklin versus Jim Harbaugh, James Franklin versus Brett Bielema. All these things, like I'm taking Kyle Whittingham over many guys in the country as a coach. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He does a great job there. He's been steady at Utah. So just having Kyle Whittingham on your sidelines is just an extra advantage because of how great of a coach he is. They have a system at Utah. They play Utah Utes football, just like you said. And if this is his last run, they are going to have that win one for the Gipper type of mentality. And maybe the storybook ending happens with them getting a playoff berth.
And I mean, I honestly don't think they're that far behind Arizona State. They did play the game last year at Arizona State, and they only lost by 8. And like that, that's one of arguably the one of the best Arizona State teams of all time. It's just kind of like an average Utah team. It felt like without good quarterback play. You switch the games at home for um, Utah, and then you add competent quarterback play. Arizona State loses Cam Skabodo. I think that margin's a lot smaller than 8. I think it could be they win by maybe 1 or 2 points in a classic, and we'll all be going nuts watching that because it'll be chaos as usual. So I don't know. I'm high on Utah. I we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean
I
the
have
world exists. They could be 5-1 going into that Arizona State game.
They could
And Arizona
absolutely.
State's coming to Recycles. It's not an easy place to play. They make that a night game. Hello.
I'm going to jump ship to the SEC real quick here.
I like
Um,
it.
um, there's 2 teams on here, coaches. They're with 2 that are being thought of highly, but have brutal schedules, and their coaches' seats are really warm right now. Oklahoma and Florida. If you look at their schedules, nobody did their in the SEC did them justice. I mean, you're talking Oklahoma's got to play Michigan, Texas. I just to name the 2 that for sure off the top of my head. And then you got Florida who plays LSU, that plays Tennessee, who's also got a gauntlet right there. Obviously, both of them with young quarterbacks, 2 coaches with their seats are really warm.
I mean, I'll say this, Cass. I agree about Oklahoma. The schedule's tough, but the schedule's tough on the back end. The schedule kind of allows themselves to, I feel like, find their ground because it's week 1, Illinois State at home. That's a gimme. Then they play Michigan at home. Michigan could be, a crater at that point. They might even have Sharon. Like we don't know what Bryce Underwood is. Like I like Oklahoma at home there, and that's just not me. That's not me hating. You got them going to
They go to the
Temple.
road on Temple.
Yeah, they go to
They
Temple.
do.
Blake
They're
might
coming to
go to
Philly.
that. I
I
guess
I may be there.
Blake might be there, and then they play Auburn at home, and then Kent State. That's pretty man. That they could be 5-0 before the Red River rivalry,
But
and
if you really, but if look at this, Dan, this is where, yeah,
it
okay.
gets insane. But
If they're 5-0, things are looking good for Brent Venables. Then next thing you know, they lose to Texas, they lose to South Carolina, they lose to Ole Miss, they lose to Tennessee, they lose to Alabama. Next thing you know, they've got to beat Missouri to be bowl eligible, and then they turn around and play LSU at home.
I mean, I think they'll steal one of those or two, 1 or 2 of those though somehow. It's Oklahoma.
I think it's going to be
Duke.
I think it's going to be Ole Miss or Tennessee, or even both, because Ole Miss kind of dropped off. We don't know what Tennessee's
What
quarterback looks like either.
what would you consider a win though for Oklahoma? Like, what do you consider a good seed? Like 8, if they go 8-4, I don't think you can say Venables is on the hot seat at
No,
all.
not anymore.
I
Not
feel
with
like
this
I
schedule.
Yeah, no, I feel like you'd be like, okay, you showed me something. As long as you're continuing to develop and build your program, I'd be happy as an Oklahoma fan. Go to
They
the
just
Pop
can't
Tart or
lose
Cheez It
five
Bowl,
straight.
like or Alamo Bowl. Like that's a good
Well,
year.
and here's the thing: Alabama's got November 15th circle because
Hmm.
when they went to Norman last year, they laid an egg. What what are your what are your thoughts on Oklahoma, Blake? That 5 week stretch is brutal.
It is tough. I have them going 7-5 this year, and that's not because I don't believe in the roster. Although I'm not as high on Oklahoma as other people when it comes to, oh, I think this team can win 9 games. I just look at that schedule. Like we said, they're home against Michigan. That Texas game is neutral site always in the Cotton Bowl. At South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Alabama, LSU at home. That's a really, really tough schedule, like we're
It is.
saying.
It
I
is.
just don't know. I mean, they've got John Mateer transferring in at quarterback. I think he's going to be outstanding for them. He's going to provide a lot of option for that offense. I think they can score a lot of points this year. The problem is going to be, can they do that in the big games? It could be that we're going to beat up on everybody else. They're going to look really good, and then they're going to get into a matchup game. How are they going to fare in that? We saw them pretty much body bag Alabama last year, but it was a turnover machine in that game. Can you win a matchup game if it's clean? Are you going to force turnovers again? Like, are you going to be an opportunistic defense? We've seen teams like USC a couple of years ago. All they did was get turnovers, and then they get into a big game. They don't get turnovers against Notre Dame. They lose the game.
Yeah.
You saw that with Notre Dame last year. They were opportunistic all the way around. Even against Ohio State in the national championship, they came up short. That defense was still opportunistic in those moments where they forced that fumble on Emeka Ibuka over the middle, and that swung some momentum a little bit. They were opportunistic against Penn State at the end of the year. That defense is going to have to be opportunistic for them to win those games. And if they can get to 9 wins with that schedule, there's going to be this backlog of SEC teams sitting there on the bubble of the playoff. And I think if Oklahoma's got, let's say, 3 wins of these 5 games against either Michigan, Texas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Bama, and LSU, that could argue as a playoff caliber resume because likely the losses are going to come to 3 teams in that pocket as well.
I
So
mean,
it's
if they somehow, I'll say this, if they go 9-3 and they have wins over like Texas and like Bama, they're in. They gotta
because
be.
those are 2 probably top 5 wins too.
Would
Yeah.
you say week one, because you got to think back to back weeks, Ohio State Texas plays, and then both teams' arch rivals play against each other,
Yeah.
who were very mediocre last year. Obviously, Ohio State got beat by Michigan last year. For both those schools, we'll get into Florida after this. Is it more of a must-win game for Brent Venables in the Oklahoma City, but the Oklahoma Sooners than it is Sharon Moore and the Michigan Wolverines? But I will say this too. I'm going to throw a caveat at you. Ohio State beats Texas. Is it a must-win for the SEC to get a win over the Big Ten?
Ooh, Cass coming with the good questions here. I do think that there's more pressure on Brett Venables to win that game. And I'm going to say this for 2 reasons, both in favor for Michigan here, where they get the excuse. They won the national championship 2 years ago. It's going to be hard to make that fan base mad still. Like there's a little bit of that hangover because of how long it had been to climb that mountain. They're sitting in these allegations. They're just like, who cares? We won the national championship. We've got Bryce Underwood. Michigan's season in terms of Michigan fans, I don't think it really is going to count until Bryce Underwood is taking meaningful snaps and he looks like the Bryce Underwood that they think. I don't think Bryce Underwood is going to be the steady starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. We may see Davis Warren. We may see a rotation. I think we'll see 2 or 3 starting quarterbacks for Michigan this year, but that's probably going to be a defensive battle there. And so just because I think Michigan's going to look a lot different by the time we get to the end of the season than the beginning, I mean, the last 6 weeks of the season is where you're going to see what Michigan really is going to be this year.
They're the most volatile team for me this year, Michigan, because if the hammer doesn't drop at all, like this year, could drop next year. I'm not predict. I'm just if the hammer doesn't drop, they could go out and go like 10-2 and make the playoff, and Bryce Underwood could be like the Big Ten freshman of the year if he processes everything correctly. Or if the hammer drops, Bryce Underwood might be headed to LSU like tomorrow. And then I don't know. I think
I don't know.
I think
USC is pretty desperate right now. They'd probably sign him for 13 million.
Yeah,
I think they're going to run the ball very effectively with Justice Haynes and the running back from Ohio, who they're huge on, that young running back from Ohio.
Jordan Marshall.
right.
Yeah, he's going to be good. They're going to have a nice 1-2 punch. I mean, that the defense should always be solid with them right now based on how they've played lately. So if maybe Davis Warren takes a step takes a step too. Like,
That
like he could elevate as well.
that's the thing. You have starting quarterback experience there for Michigan. Okay, is Davis Warren a world beater? No. Did he beat Ohio State last year? Yeah. Did he do anything in that game to win that game? No.
No.
But this is the
he
thing.
beat
Like, he
he,
has to
he
be
beat
under center in
Bama.
the game. Right. He didn't do a thing in either game to really advance the, oh, wow,
Davis
Michigan won.
Warren,
Why? Davis
Davis
Warren.
Davis Warren, if you put on Mount Rushmore quarterbacks for most average quarterbacks with two big wins over Blue Bloods, Davis Warren is the George Washington.
If you did a blind resume and didn't look at the stats, and imagine you're hiring Blake, we're looking for interns, that bunch of nuts. Like, seriously, we're looking for interns, apply.
This is true.
If imagine you're looking at resumes, Blake, and you're shifting through the resume and you see it says national champion starting wins over Ohio State, Alabama, and you're like, oh my God, I gotta hire this guy. And then you look at his stat line and he has like 4 touchdowns and like 12 picks. And you're like, this is the kid who we hired? That's Davis Ward. Like, looks great on paper, but like, no.
He
I'm gonna
literally has this. If you really look at it, he has wins against Ohio State and Alabama, back-to-back wins. Go to the year 1999, or Tom Brady has a win against Ohio State and Alabama back to back.
That's wild.
honestly, as we're talking about this, guys, the fan inside me is coming out where this wall behind me, I want to bang my head against it. Just still not understanding how Ohio State lost that game as I'm sitting there in the horseshoe, just contemplating many, many things. The first one being how in the world I'm watching Davis Warren beat Ohio State 13-10. But
I just realized, is he still even in college?
I don't think so.
he
Yeah.
he's got to be a graduate student, I think, at this point in time.
All right. While he's looking at it, I mentioned Florida.
Yeah.
Obviously
He is. Oh no, he is, but he hurt his ACL, so I think he's gonna be back next year. Didn't he tear his ACL?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Obviously, Florida's going to win their first two games. I don't even know who that Shark team is. It looks like FCS West on College Football 26. But they play South Florida, and then another team with a gauntlet: LSU in Baton Rouge, Miami in Miami, and then they host Texas, and then they get a bye week, right? They host Texas, and then they go to College Station, and then they finally get a break. They play Mississippi State, and then turn around, play Georgia in Jacksonville, and then they finish with Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State. I did skip Kentucky because Kentucky's not going to be very good. Billy Napier, I will sit there, and I'm going to sit here and make a prediction. If Billy Napier loses to LSU, Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M back to back to back to back, he's going to get fired in the middle of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm concerned right now because they're
they got a lot of hype too.
DJ Lagway, they're saying, he's not healthy. Who knows what it is? But also USF is on there. They are not. That is not an easy game, and we saw obviously the year they almost beat Bama. That they fought Miami hard last year, and I got this from someone who played them. My friend Akili. He told me, because he played at Navy. He told me basically at all the teams he's seen, and he's played, Memphis with Gainwell, like it's in the like the ACC, like Cincinnati, all those good teams, like Luke Fickell. He told me the most athletic team he's ever seen naturally is just USF. It's just they're just for some reason it's just what's in the water down there.
I beat Florida with USF 31-10 on College Football 26. So
yeah. So it's just that's not a cakewalk either for them. But I love Florida. I think Florida will.
They're going to win some of those games. So
they're going to have to be like an NFL team. They're going to have to basically decrease the margins. If they can just get a margin, fix this margin here and win that battle, and they got to play game by game. It's game by game for Florida.
I think they split because they go back to back on the road, and Miami's not really a road game because
no.
it'd probably be split.
Florida will have more fans there
Yeah.
than Miami will. It's just standard procedure.
I think
Kylo Ren will be there. Ren will be there.
I think with it being in Baton Rouge at night, I think they're going to drop that one to LSU. But I think they're going to beat Miami. Obviously, I think they're going to lose to Texas, but I think they're going to beat Texas A&M. They'll beat Mississippi State, and I think that November 1st game is going to be a really good game.
When I'm looking at Florida, I'm going to give you a bold prediction for the Gators. I think they have 2 top 10 wins this season.
I love it.
They could get 3. It's going to depend on DJ Lagway's health. I mean, how healthy is he right now? What's the injury going to look like through camp? He's the real deal. He's a great quarterback, and we saw that through the back half of the year. I mean, they finished the season red hot. And if he was on the field, they were winning games. They play 11 Georgia, Power 4 teams this year. That's the thing.
When they play Georgia this year, Florida has the advantage at QB by a mile.
They do.
It was even. Now it's clear advantage Florida.
Yeah, and you have 11 Power 4 teams on your schedule. I don't know if that's ever been done before in college football, but I mean, this is the toughest schedule in the entire country. So, Billy Napier, if you're pulling out 8 wins of this, I mean, tip the cap. 9-3 Florida, I think, has an argument for the playoff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dan already made that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they should be considered if they can pull off a 9-3. I mean,
I would even go as far as if it came down to that 11th or 12th seed, and it came down to 10-2 Illinois and 9-3 Florida. I really think
Florida.
They would put Florida in.
I would. Yeah. I would say 8-4 Florida if they had like 2 or 3 top 10 wins. 8-4, and if it's like an 11 seed,
as long as one of those losses is not Ohio State for Illinois, though.
I'll say
that's really tough one to call.
If Notre Dame goes like 10-2,
they're out.
And Florida's 8-4. This could be very controversial. I'm taking Florida. I would put Florida in over Notre Dame if Notre Dame was 10-2.
If Notre Dame went 10-2, and it came down to Florida at 9-3, I would almost consider, because let's look at Notre Dame's schedule. They have Miami. It all depends. If Notre Dame beats Miami and Florida loses to Miami, then there's that head-to-head.
Well, that's a data point. Yeah,
because they're both. Because ironically enough, both of those games are in Miami, and then they play Texas A&M too. So Notre Dame back-to-back games, Miami and Texas A&M. If they win those games, but Florida doesn't.
Now flip it though. Florida goes 8-4, but they win those games and Notre Dame doesn't.
And those are Notre Dame's 2 losses. I still think they'd put Notre Dame in.
I don't know, man. It depends on Lagway too. Depends on like where he does in the Heisman race. If he wins the Heisman or is like comes second, I think they could get in. It's the one time I'd be okay with like the SEC cramming a team in is if Florida goes 8-4.
Well, I'm going to sit here and tell you right now. They're going to – I think I told both of you this. They're going to push so hard for 4 SEC teams to get in the playoffs this year.
I think they're going to get that too.
I think it's going to happen.
And they will.
Yeah, I think that's
which
guaranteed.
Will prevent the Big Ten to only get 3.
I still think that's the right number, though. I'm not sold on Illinois. I know I'm probably in the minority opinion on that. I'm not fully sold on Illinois as a team. I really think it is Ohio State, Penn State, and then Oregon also is 3.
I could see a scenario. Sorry to cut you off. I could just see a scenario where, like Illinois finishes higher than Oregon in the Big Ten, but like the committee's like, okay, still put an Oregon in,
Yeah, it's that weird tiebreaker thing where it's like we didn't play each other, but who's going to get where and whatever else happens.
If Illinois goes 11-1 and say they beat Ohio State, which I have predicted,
they're in.
They're
in.
Are they if they go 11-1, but that losses to Ohio State? Are they in?
Yes,
probably.
They're a Big Ten team with an 11-1 record. We got precedent for that last year with Indiana.
But they're going on the road, by the way, if that happens.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
the committee, they're going to be seated as they're ranked. And I mean, listen, any Big Ten team or any SEC team that is with 11 wins is going to be inside the top 12, especially in
Oh
the season this year. I think,
yeah.
Cass, looking at it this year, you could see there may not be, I don't think there's going to be an undefeated team, first of all, in the regular season.
No.
I think we may have 2 or 3 one-loss teams. That's it. We might have a lot of 2 and 3 loss teams this year sitting in there. I do think we're going to see
I think all
1 3 loss
four.
team in the playoff, maybe 2.
I think 3 of the 4 top 4 seeds are going to have one loss,
Yeah, no,
and I think the number 12 team is going to have one loss, and
okay.
that's
So the
because it's the
G5, yeah,
group
the
of 5.
G5
Yeah.
team with boys, yeah, they have to. There's no way a
So
2 loss G5 team's
I'm
getting
going to
in.
go ahead and release my. I mean, I've kind of been cheating it. I'll go ahead and release mine since we're right here and talking about it. My playoffs, and I have UNLV at 12, and they're 11-1, but they'll go to 10-2 Alabama. And then I have Miami at 10-2 at 11 seed because I think the ACC is very weak. I have them going to Notre Dame, so a rematch from a week 1 rematch. I have Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame at 11-1.
So are you just doing the not the bowl game yet, like
These are the home.
first
These are
this
the
is the
home
first round. Like
first round, and then
okay.
I have Kansas State, who's going to win the Big 12, but they're going to be the 10-2 Big 12, and they'll go on the road to play Georgia. I know Georgia. God, I don't believe in Gunnar Stockton.
I
I think
don't either.
Georgia ends up with 2 losses, but they don't get in the SEC title game, so they're going to hang on to that 2 losses. But I do have them on upset alert in the final week of the season against Georgia Tech.
Gunnar Stockton has such a cool name, and like I want to believe in
That
him, but like
defense, though, is Kirby Smart.
I watched him play though, like multiple games, and he just was not. He's a good game manager. He's like SEC Davis Warren
Yeah, and then I
with a
mean,
cool
I
name.
have, and this is where like I have Georgia at 7, and then
Yeah.
this is where SEC fans are going to get really mad, even though they're going to host 2 playoff games, but you're going to have another SEC team travel on the road against a Big Ten team. I have LSU going to Oregon for that 8-9 matchup. So I have Kansas State going to Georgia with Kansas State, that 7-10 matchup. The 6-11 matchup, I have Miami going to Notre Dame, and then I have UNLV going to Alabama. And I'm going to give you the kickoff times for that. So Alabama UNLV is going to be high noon on ABC, like the Penn State SMU game was this year. I have Notre Dame Miami. They're going to play on Friday night because game day is going to be there. I have Georgia and Kansas State. That'll be on Friday night as well. That'll be on Saturday at 3:30, and then Oregon LSU will have Chris Fowler and Herbie doing that game in Oregon.
Where would that
And
game be better, Oregon or LSU? I mean, those would be 2 incredible and playoff
Honestly,
I
environments.
think
I
it'd be awesome in LSU, but I think Oregon, like,
I think
Yeah,
it would rock in Oregon because
Autzen would be
Autzen at
nuts.
night,
yeah.
like if they wore like kind of like a black scheme,
Oh,
it would kind of
they
it would
would
look like
too.
death. It would
Yeah,
look a little bit like a smaller version of Death
I
Valley.
almost, to be honest with you guys, I almost had LSU hosting Kansas State, and I had almost had Georgia going to Oregon. If you want ratings, baby, you have Dan Lanning against his mentor at home for a first round playoff game with Georgia going to Oregon. How electric would that have been? I almost did that, but I didn't. I think
It,
they're going to favor the SEC a little bit more, even though LSU will go to Oregon. And in my top 4 seeds, I have Penn State going 10-2 with their 2 losses to Ohio State because it is James Franklin. I have Ohio State getting the 3rd seed. Here's why: because their lone loss is going to be to Illinois, and then they're going to be penalized for that. And then Clemson's going to get the number 2 seed. Texas will get the number 1 seed as the SEC champion because they're going to go, even though they lost to Ohio State, their strength of schedule.
Cass,
there's
on your Texas pick, are they running the table in the SEC, then finishing at 11-1, then winning the SEC
Yeah,
12-1?
yeah.
Wow.
I have them running table.
If Ohio State loses to Illinois, man, I might jump in the turtle exhibit at the zoo. Like,
There'll be
there's
PTSD from Juice Williams in
there's
2007
no chance. I'll jump in. I'll go to Columbus Zoo and jump in the turtle museum in
The
honor
top
of
four,
them.
my
Like,
honestly, that's what I have
or
right now.
2008.
My top four will be the same four, but where will the seedings be at the end of the year? Because I do think
Yeah.
Ohio State is going to lose a game. Obviously, Dan has them losing to Penn State, but they obviously get revenge on them in the Big Ten championship. But I don't believe in James Franklin. I really don't. He had a more talented team in 2017 and 18 and lost. That 2018 team, he had Miles 17 team. He had Miles Sanders and he had Mike Gesicki, Miles Sanders, Saquon Barkley, and Trace McSorley, and Godwin, the receiver that's playing for the Buccaneers.
we had Nick Bosa. Like, I don't think they were more talented. Like
I do.
We had Denzel Ward, we had Nick Bosa. Like our defense was absolutely insane, dude.
They still like their wide receivers. They don't have Davis Warren this year.
Like Godwin's was a great receiver, but like we had Noah
Didn't they
Brown,
have Jahan Dotson as well?
Curtis Samuel. Yeah, no, Jahan was 2020, I think. Like I'm thinking like guys who actually impacted the games. I don't know. It's we could debate this all day.
Can we sit here for 1 second though? Because I have a legitimate question for the room here. So Ohio State and Penn State, we're looking at these two teams. Dan, you think they lose? Ohio State loses to Penn State. Cash, you think Ohio State beats Penn State? Right,
I think we split. I think we split. So
where's the split?
The Big Ten championship. We
No. I mean, like who wins what? Which team wins where?
No, Jim Knowles comes in to the shoe.
Holy
Absolute
smokes!
cinema, gets revenge. Everyone's like fire Matt Patricia. Everyone's like burn it down, burn, like everyone's freaking out. We lock in. We go on the warpath. Big game James Franklin shows up in the Big Ten championship, and we're like at a 4-5 seed there, and we beat them. Penn State at that point is like the clear number one in the country. They fall down to 4. They still get the bye. We get the Big Ten championship, and we get a top 4 seed. I'll reveal mine whenever you guys are ready.
Wait, hold on. Going back to 2017 Penn State, Trace McSorley at quarterback, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders, Deshaun Hamilton, Jawan Johnson, KJ Hamler was on that, and Mike Gesicki was on that offense.
They were up by 18.
And they were up by 18 twice and lost. So that team is more talented than this Penn State team.
Oh, yeah, that team is, but like
the coaching staff is very different.
Still so good though.
I know.
Yeah.
Like we had J.K. Dobbins. We had Joe Burrow was like our third string quarterback. We had our offensive line.
And Victor, Johnny Dixon, that was Johnny Dixon's best game of his career.
We had Terry McLaurin.
Marcus Ball.
We had Terry McLaurin still. We had I believe we still had Noah Brown. Noah Brown should have still been on that team, I believe.
But they also should have won in 2018, Penn State.
Yeah. No, I think
it's an if not now then when year for Penn State, I think.
Our defense was insane though. Nick Bosa, Draymond Jones, Taekwon Lewis.
If Ohio State
Jerome Baker
beats Penn State both times and they beat Texas, and if it's not Illinois, is it Washington that they lose?
That's the game, honestly, on Ohio State's schedule, because it's very easy to look at the Buckeyes schedule and say Texas, Penn State, and Michigan. Those are the 3 games. If Ohio State loses, they're going to be 1, 2, or 3 of those games. Off the radar game, Illinois is a popular pick. Washington's the one that makes me nervous. You're going to go to Washington. Seattle's nuts. I mean, that stadium is going to go berserk.
It could be the matchup between the 2 reigning national champions if if the rumors of the forfeit are true. I just want to
and that's where I have, if Illinois, think about it, because if Illinois beats Ohio State, they're going to ride high, and then they got to travel to Seattle the next week to play Washington, and that's where I think Washington beats Illinois.
Okay. Washington will win one of those 2 games, and I think the game that they win is Illinois. I think Ohio State survives.
Yeah.
But that game does scream, I don't want to say trap game because it's out there. It's a tough place to play in Washington.
I will say Ohio State's either going to lose to Texas, Illinois, or Washington. Those are the three for me.
So you think Ohio State loses early? You think this team is good enough and talented? Once that train gets rolling, it's a locomotive just on the tracks flying, and you're not going to stop that
It
puppy.
depends, like we said off air, it depends on August 18th, Monday, August 18th.
Sure.
Does Lincoln Keenholz or Julian Sain get named the quarterback?
Do you think Day's going to name the starter, or do you think he's going to wait until like what Urban did with JT and Cardale and just
I
name him
hope
right
not.
before the game?
Well, a lot of people are saying, what if Ryan Day doesn't announce the starter, but he knows who the starting quarterback is and just locks the media out of practice?
I mean,
kind of like what he did with CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
But
It's
he ended
possible.
up announcing Stroud as the starting quarterback, though.
Well,
I think we see an announcement.
We will get to the bottom of
Yeah.
it. We will. Yeah. Silver bullets, and we'll get to the bottom of it.
All right. But yeah, I have my top four are going to be the same, but could shuffle around by midseason. I just think I believe in Clemson. I believe in Texas. I also think I'm going to go throw this out there. I think Clay Klubnik's going to win the Heisman Trophy. And I don't believe in the Arch Manning hype. I just think that defense for Texas is really, really good. It's going to make Arch Manning look probably better than what he actually is.
That's what I wanted to ask you there, Cass. If you're saying Texas loses to Ohio State that runs the table in the SEC, but we're not buying into Arch Manning, are we expecting an all-world unit here for Texas on defense? Because they have the talent to be really, really good.
Their defense
the linebackers are insane. If you guys want, I'll tell you this, if you want to watch some sick film, put on the Anthony Hill highlight tape. He is that backer for them.
They're that good.
Like Simmons is great. He's a stud, obviously one freshman over the year over Jeremiah Smith, but watch Hill. He that guy balls. He knows what to do. He knows what to do. He's always in position, makes great plays, leader. He should win the Buckets this year.
Would you guys agree if there does a team go undefeated, would it be Clemson?
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. I'm ready to do mine, and then Blake, do you want to do yours?
Clemson's schedule similar to Oregon's last year. You get the big win, LSU, their first game. You get that big win like Oregon did over Ohio State, you can go undefeated that way. So, yeah, Clemson has the best shot of anybody. Dan, go ahead.
All right, so number 12 team, I got Navy. So I had Navy. Their schedule pretty manageable, like I said earlier in the show. The one tough game's Notre Dame, which my 11th seed then is Notre Dame, and it kind of feeds into each other because I think Notre Dame's going to have 2 losses. They'll beat Navy, and that'll actually be a good win for them. But they'll be 10-2. They'll get the 11th seed. Navy will be 11-1 with a close loss to Notre Dame. And the reason why I put that, I kind of had that feed off each other a little bit, was because if Notre Dame's a little down, and this is supposed to be a really good Navy team, I think that game will be closer. You know what I'm saying? So Navy then doesn't get blown out. They go 11-1, win the AAC. Their only loss is still 10-2 Notre Dame. Notre Dame still gets 11 seed. I'm just not sold on CJ Carr at the quarterback. I think they'll be really good running the ball. They got 2 great backs. Great House is, I think, molding into a good receiver. I can't trust Carr. I think they could struggle early, Notre Dame, so I have them at 11. And then I have as my where am I? My 10 seed. I have Utah, the Utah Utes. They will go to the Big 12 championship game and lose, but everyone will be like, Kyle Whittingham, put him in. Number 9, I got Oregon. I think they will finish behind Illinois in the Big 10, but since they're already in the top 10, they're like, everyone loves them already. They don't have to do much. They're just got to kind of survive, So if they have 2 losses, they're going to get in. It doesn't matter. Number 8, I have Georgia. So they're going to go to Georgia, actually, and play Gunnar Stockton, Kirby. Georgia.
So you have the Dan Lanning,
I do.
Kirby Smart matchup.
Dan chose popcorn when he made this bracket.
I did. No, I did. This is the people's bracket. I'm telling you, this is
it is the people's bracket. That is what it needs to be trademarked right now. Effective executive order.
It gets nuts. Number 7.
Before you go move on, Dan, but can we all agree how much that matchup, college football would need that matchup in a playoff game? Dan Lanning versus Kirby Smart
in Athens too.
in Athens or Eugene.
It's going to be in Athens, I
I'd
think.
rather see Eugene
So
though.
I have the SEC getting 3 home playoff games in this first round just to make everyone and shocker too. This is going to be last year we had a lot of cold playoff games. It's going to be warm playoff games this year, man. I think we're going to see a shift. We got number 7. I got number
Yeah, because all
7.
the cold teams are going to have bye weeks.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. But at number 7, I got the SEC also learned that lesson. Like, don't go up north. Don't go up north. We're gonna host all the games down. I got number 7, Bama. So it will be in Tuscaloosa, Kyle Whittingham versus Alabama. That'll be a really fun one, I think. Number 6, I got Notre Dame traveling to what is Arizona State's city?
Tempe.
Is it Tempe? Yeah, Tempe.
Tempe.
They're going to Tempe.
Question: would they move that game?
To the Fiesta
Would they
Bowl.
move it out of Tempe and put it in Phoenix?
I don't know what the
Because
contract.
the Notre Dame fans,
You are able to do that.
You are.
I do think that the host venue is able to designate a site if the other one is deemed, I guess, not playable or something that way. Because remember all that talk with Ohio State might play at Lucas Oil Stadium, just have it inside the dome and all that. I do think that that's a thing. Don't fact check me on that, but I do remember talk.
Well, that's a great point. So yeah, let's move it to Glendale. Let's do it. Let's do it. That will be a banger. So ASU Notre Dame, and then finally, the last home playoff game I got for the SEC. It's Navy goes to Death Valley.
Yeah,
God,
Plays LSU, and it's
USA is not that day.
no,
dude, that's definitely the noon game on that Saturday.
Yeah,
and it's going to be an absolute
that one.
massacre.
And
It's
then
gonna
the
be,
night game, obviously the night game is going to be in Athens with Oregon
yeah.
and Pat McAfee is going to get up and sing his Georgia Bulldog
What's
song.
that coming down the tracks?
So like ASU Notre Dame, that will be I think the Friday night,
Yeah.
and then Bama Utah, that'll be like in the
3:30.
Yeah, that's what I got. And then I got the winners. So I got the winners of this. So the people's bracket gets better. It gets.
Oh, you have the winners. I didn't even make the winners.
I got advancing to the Cotton Bowl to play Penn State. Penn State's my number 4 seed. This team advances to the Cotton Bowl. I got LSU versus Penn State in the Cotton Bowl. In the Rose Bowl, I have Georgia beating Oregon, and they're going to play Clemson in the Rose Bowl. And Clemson I have as my 1 seed. I have Arizona State going to the Orange Bowl, and they're going to play my 3 seed Texas in the Orange
Bowl.
Absolutely rematch. And it's outdoors this time. It's not going to be in the Atlanta. It's going to be in Miami. The roof's going to be open. And then I got in the Sugar Bowl, Bama versus Ohio State, baby. It's so gonna be so good. It's gonna be cinematic.
Who's in the Rose Bowl? Penn State?
No, it's Georgia Clemson.
I will sit here and tell you right now, as much as you would love to see Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl, they're going to choose Pasadena no matter what.
Well, they're not. Yeah. They're gonna be the 2 seed, so I don't think they have that.
They can choose. So the number 1 team, like for me, I have Texas choosing the Cotton Bowl for Texas. I have Clemson choosing the Orange Bowl. I have Ohio State choosing the Rose Bowl, and then I have Penn State choosing the Sugar Bowl.
Well, look, I just mirrored what Blake had. Like I saw his format. So I copied Blake's format. Like I went with like where Blake had his seeds. If you look at where Blake had his seeds, like
I see you left the game in that quadrant.
Yes, that's how I see.
My logic was with Cass, but I understand where you're at. Like I was going to buy this team would choose that site, and yeah.
If we're going, I just went by the quadrant. So
that makes sense. I mean, again, this is all rotational, so it's
I'm keeping
still
trying to keep it
quarterfinal
consistent here.
Yep.
I got in the Rose Bowl in the Fiesta Bowl. Well, to do Peach Bowl or Fiesta Bowl first? You guys want to know who wins?
Fiesta.
Fiesta, the Ohio State versus Arizona State. A Final Four game. But it's
Sam
going to
Levitt
be
Express.
in Arizona, though, to make it even
I feel like Dan's got the can, like he's in love with the Big 12. He had Kansas making it far. I think it was last year or the year before.
Should just tweet this bracket at Josh Pate, who's a big fan of America's conference. This is America's bracket now.
And
it is taken over. Big 12 unite.
I got the Peach Bowl. This is such a banger of a game too, man. I like this is going to be so much fun. Rematch week 1. Clemson LSU Peach Bowl. The South. So we got the battle for the South in one quadrant, and we got just Ohio State on their warpath.
If we get this bracket, Dan should play the lottery, and Ohio State probably goes back to back.
Ohio State's going 3 in a row if we get this bracket.
Unfortunately, I do have Ohio State then going to the Natty and then losing to Clemson, and then Clemson fans are going to talk smack to us for the next year.
Dan,
that's how I have this playing out, and I hate to end it like that. It's a warpath. It's a warpath, and then just the Clemson.
You have me in the first half. Not gonna lie.
That
would be fun. That would be fun.
I would obviously, before Blake reveals this, I have Bama going to Penn. I have Bama playing Penn State in the Sugar Bowl. I have Ohio State. They would play Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. Actually, I'm going. Yeah, they would play Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. We'll go 4 years in a row with beating Notre Dame.
Wow, Ohio State, Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl. That would be beautiful. Yeah, almost as good as Ohio State, Michigan. In the Rose Bowl.
Would Ohio State fans be as insufferable as Michigan fans if we beat?
We act like we've been there before.
4 years in a row, but like if we beat Notre Dame 4 years in a row.
No, we like Marcus Freeman. We respect Marcus Freeman. That's the thing. Like that was a respect game for Ohio State in the national championship.
And then for some reason, I have Kansas State upsetting Georgia. No, Georgia's a tough place to play. I'll have Georgia beating Kansas State, playing Clemson, and then I'm gonna go LSU upsets Oregon. I think you take the veteran quarterback LSU, so LSU would play Texas. And then I would have Texas winning, and I have Alabama. I'll have Alabama beating Penn State, and then I'll have Ohio State beating Notre Dame again, and then I would have, so it'd be Clemson and Georgia. I'll go Clemson, and then I have Alabama upsetting Texas, and then I'll have Ohio State beating Clemson, and then Ohio State winning the national championship over Alabama. I want that personally so I can rub it in my cousins' faces, but something tells me Bama, Kalen DeBoer. But
year 2 Kalen DeBoer is not to be messed with, I'll tell you that much.
But I don't think, if you really look at it, I see Alabama as the possible host team that could pull it off in Ohio State. But outside of that, I don't see another run like Ohio State did last year out of any of these teams in the playoffs.
I mean, the only team I see who could do is Florida. If they go through the gauntlet already. They got to make it first.
I'll tell you, Oregon could turn it on as we get into the playoffs too. They're going to be a team to watch. LSU too, if the defense gets better, if LSU gets in the field, I think that's a very dangerous team because they'll be in there as a lower seed, maybe not getting a home game. But LSU, yeah, no, Alabama's going to be very good. No disrespect to them at all. But yeah, you can watch Oregon or LSU. I think of those lower seeds that could make a deep run where Ohio State came out of the 8 seed last year. I think if you look at that 8 line and below, you're seeing somewhere like LSU or Oregon maybe that can make that run.
Blake,
again, Notre Dame, Ohio State in the Rose Bowl would be glorious.
Blake, that would be outstanding. Before you present your bracket,
yep.
I just want to say we got a comment on it from our favorite Miami Hurricanes fan, Kylo Ren. He said Miami's smacking the life out of Ohio, but y'all won't be there this year. And just as a little preview to your bracket. I know you already posted it, but he thinks Miami will beat them. Um, what are
Well,
your
Miami
thoughts?
Miami needs to remember who broke them back about 2 decades ago. That would be my clap back
Dude,
to
I was a
that.
freshman in high school. I was 14. I'm 37 now, if that tells you anything.
I I grew up liking Miami because I like the Olsons were
That team
literally
was
from my
awesome.
town.
Yeah,
Yeah, like my quarterback in my grade went was a huge recruit. He ended up going to Miami. His brother obviously is Greg Olson. Like I always liked Miami before, and that's before I even had Ohio State on my radar. So like I have nothing against the U. I like the U. But it's just funny. Like I never realized how like hurt that fan base is. Like if you bring up Ohio State, it's like bringing up Michigan to us. Like it's bad. It's they hate us.
it
All
is
right.
true.
We gotta start wrapping up real quick. But
All right,
go
I'll
ahead,
run.
Blake.
I'll run through this pretty quick. I'll do the same thing as you guys, 12-1. I'll start with my 12 seeds, Boise State. I think they're the G5 team. They, they have that tough matchup earlier in the year, but I think that's their lone loss. So Notre Dame is going to host them in the 5-12 game. I'll just do it this way.
Yep.
Arizona State's going to be the 11 seed. I think Sam Levitt, they win the Big 12. They're going to go to Tuscaloosa. Alabama will be the 6th seed. They're in that bottom right quadrant. And then we'll go number 10 is going to be Georgia. So Kirby Smart, Gunnar Stockton, they get to the playoff with a nice back half of the season. Georgia's schedule, they only play 3 true road games, which I think is something to note there. I think Georgia starts slow during the season, but then they find their groove at the end. They do not make it to Atlanta, but they get in the playoff as the 10 seed. They will go to Autzen. So I do have that matchup, Cass. So
Man,
I've
I'm the
got
only
them.
one that doesn't, and I'm the
I,
one that was hyping it.
I didn't even realize it that way until you started saying it. And I looked and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to make the
No,
people very happy when I present this.
it's just the way the
So
schedule fell,
it
honestly. Like
does. Yeah.
the way that's the
And
way I
even
looked at it.
even if that is the 7-10 matchup, Fowler and Herbstreit are doing that game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they'll build that up a lot. It'll be just like when Kirby was going against Saban. Not obviously not to that magnitude, but they'll find parallels between that kind of build up. So I think Georgia goes to Autzen. They play Oregon. Oregon's going to be hot. So I think that'll actually be a very, very intriguing matchup, not just because of the coaching battle, but because of both of those teams, I think will be hitting their stride at the right time late. Then I have LSU as the 9 seed going to Miami, the 8 seed. I think, again, Miami's schedule is going to keep this where they're going to have the better record than LSU. I think LSU is going to have 3 losses. But again, we're seeding teams as they're ranked. So
Yeah.
this year, that's the one difference in the platform, which I think is the right thing to do. So they're going to go to Miami. That'll be
Yeah.
a fun matchup.
That'll
The
be
winner of that.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
that's that's I mean that's something I wish like a game we had like in week 1 or 2. And if we get that in the playoff, like that's such a fun game to have when you got like two random Southern teams like that. That's always a good time.
oh yeah, I think that'll be a great matchup. So again, those first round games will be Notre Dame hosting Boise, Alabama hosting Arizona State, Oregon hosting Georgia, and
Mhm.
Miami hosting LSU. So then we sets up those quarterfinal games. We're going to have the Cotton Bowl. Clemson's going to go there. They're going to host Notre Dame. Clemson is my 4 seed. Then Penn State's going to go to the Orange Bowl. They're going to host Alabama in that game. I think that is going to be quite the benchmark game for James Franklin and that program because, again, it's an if not now, then when. They've got a great coordinator combination there, bringing in Jim Knowles from Ohio State, Andy Kotelnicki there. Can they stretch the field vertically? That's the big question. Their offensive line's great, but they don't have to beat Ohio State to get to the playoff either time if they play them twice. So their prize for that, whether they win or lose, is getting Alabama there in a quarterfinal as my 3 seed. And then that's going to sit up on the other side of the bracket. Ohio State choosing the Rose Bowl, getting LSU. I think that game is going to be incredible. So I've got Ohio State LSU, the 1-9 game in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. And then the Sugar Bowl nightcap, we're going to have Texas, Georgia, a rematch of a late season game. I think this is, again, Georgia's hitting its stride, but not going to be enough in that matchup. So I think Texas wins that game. I think Penn State finds a way to beat Bama. I know, crazy, but Penn State's going to get there to the semifinal in the Fiesta Bowl. They're going to play Texas, and then Ohio State's going to beat LSU. Clemson's going to beat Notre Dame. So you're going to have an Ohio State Clemson Peach Bowl. Then this game ends the right way for Ohio State fans. So the Buckeyes are going to beat Clemson in the Peach Bowl. So Ohio State's going to exercise two different sets of demons that night, the Peach Bowl ones. And I know because they just played in Atlanta, won the national championship, it was not called the Peach Bowl. So they only let go of some of that stuff from Atlanta, some of those nightmares. And then again, like I said, I've got Penn State and Texas. Give me the Longhorns to win that game. I think that's where Penn State's magic runs out. So we've got a week one opener between Ohio State and Texas. The Buckeyes win it. And then we've got a rematch of it in the national championship for everything. If you had that national championship game, who would you take?
Ohio State. I'm biased.
Jeez, I don't know, man. It's tough. That's tough. I like Ohio State week one because it's at home. And I
Right.
think
That game's in Vegas too,
the
isn't it?
way
Miami.
Ohio State right now is more ready to play week one than Texas is just because of one, I feel like Arch Manning
I
and
think
that
it's vice
offense.
versa.
I feel like that offense lost so much for Texas. Ohio State, we still have Jeremiah Smith. And we always have like we have
And
a
Caleb Downs.
tight end, our line's proven, yeah. And then we have Caleb Downs. If Texas gets to that point, I think the Texas you would see at that point would be terrifying. If they get to that, get through that gauntlet, how battle tested they would be. I'd be very terrified to play Texas at that point, to be honest. I think I would say the Longhorns. I hate that I'm hating on Ohio State, right? I'm not hating. I'm just like I'm trying to not be biased.
Well, there's no hate there. I think too, if Texas gets the national championship, that means Arch Manning did what he's supposed to do. That means he at least met those expectations, most likely. That defense is going to be really, really good. The offense is going to improve. They're going to be ferocious on the defensive line.
I'm
And
also
again,
worried
I
with
think this is great football both ways.
I'm also worried of like with Ohio State, just like fatigue, and not fatigue from this season, fatigue from last season. It's just when you get that deep into the playoffs and you're on another run like that,
Well, Texas basically did the same thing.
I know, but it's just
I think there's a different mindset with
yeah.
Ryan Day this
You're
year.
right. You're right. You're right. I just
There's a
The team
different
is hungry.
there's there this is a weird thing. I've never seen an Ohio State team come off a national champion outside of the fans, come outside of the national championship season and not acknowledge that they are the defending national champions.
They're the
Like that's
attacking national champions.
yeah. That is for me unfamiliar territory because I look at 2002, they're defending national champions. They kind of sneak, they kind of that's what I'm concerned about. I don't think it's going to happen, but they sleepwalk in 03. They lose to Wisconsin on the road. Okay.
I
They
think
sleepwalk in 2015. They almost lose to Indiana, where Ezekiel Elliott had to go off to beat them. But we lost to Michigan State, where we should have beat Michigan State.
I think the problem is here's the thing. I think Ohio State's goals right now
It's beat Michigan
beat Michigan and
and
win
win a
the
Big Ten.
I feel like that takes precedent right now, believe it or not a natty. And I feel like we're going to put so much emphasis on that early on that once it comes time to the playoff run, we'll be good. But like I think we're just going to peak too early is my take on
It
this.
could be a thing too where we get past the Rose Bowl, but we lose a semifinal game to Clemson or
Yeah. I don't think we'd lose to Arizona State, but
no.
it's the Fiesta Bowl. Maybe we get a targeting call. I don't know.
I saw that highlight today of the dropped pass that was ruled a fumble originally. It was not a good way to start my day. It,
But
That was the worst game ever. That was just
it
I
was
was
not
sad
good.
about that for 2 weeks at least. Like I just
That
we
that and the
were,
Peach
dude.
Bowl, I
I
think were
remember we
really
didn't
really
get
challenging.
like it took us 2 weeks to do our episode, and then we're in the middle. We're like, okay, we got to do this episode. We're in the middle of that episode, and then that's when Shaun Wade. In the middle of our episode, Shaun Wade announced that he was coming back,
yeah.
and now we got hyped for it. And then next thing you know, COVID happened.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
was
have all
tough.
that, but
That was tough. That
yeah,
I
back
still think about that loss every day.
that yeah, that lost the Peach Bowl and
Peach
Purdue
Bowl
sometimes it
loss.
keeps you up
Peach
at
Bowl
night.
I'm okay with because they were so injured. We were starting. I think Mitch Rossi was like our start, and Xavier Johnson were like our starting running backs at
Oh
one
no,
point.
yeah.
Let me
That's
let me tell you, stinging losses. If you really look at it in the last 25 years since 2000, the most stinging losses, and I'm obviously older than you guys, not much older than you guys, but like I've been following Ohio State football since 1994, obviously. But the most stinging losses in my lifetime is '05 Texas,
Oh, that one hurt.
'05 Penn State, '06 national championship game.
I think that one stings too because the fact that you score the kickoff right away and you take the lead, but
Yeah.
then you like your best weapon on offense goes out. That sucks. That's absolutely up there too. And
And
I was
then
yeah.
2013 Big Ten championship to Michigan State. Um, 2015 Michigan State loss. And then Clemson 2019 stung a lot. The lot where we got blown out, I I was just more in shock when we got blown out by Clemson. 2022 Peach Bowl Georgia and then the 2024 Michigan game are probably the most stinging losses. Because I look at the 2023 Michigan game, Ohio State Michigan game, we were not the better team, obviously.
I think
2022 was stinging because we should have won that game, but obviously we know Connor Stallions and all that. But
I think
last year's
20
game was so stinging.
dude,
It was horrible.
I have them. I agree with that list. I have them flipped though because I think 2023 we were that game kind of felt like the Natty when you look back on it
That was a
and you look at
really good game.
It
well you look
was,
when you look
but the
back at
better
it
team
though
won.
that's like a game that was a national championship game, but it wasn't the national championship. It kind of felt like
It was Michigan's
or,
version of 2006.
or like when Tua played Joe Burrow that one year. That game wasn't a national championship game, but both those teams, that Bama team was still a national championship caliber team. Ohio State had a chance to win it at the end. We were
But
driving with the ball, and it
but the
just
better in reality, the better team won that game.
yeah, sure.
But the better team in 2023, no 2022 was Ohio State, and that's when the Connor Stallions. Last year, the better team, obviously, we've talked about this before. If we beat Michigan last year, I don't think we win the national championship.
But in 2022 though, we were not the better team than Georgia. Like I said, we were trotting out
That's why it was stinging.
all our back. I don't think it's stinging. I'm proud of them. I'm proud that they almost won
I'd
the
have rather
national.
lost that game by 10 than on a field goal at midnight
I
after they said it at half. I knew
I
the fix was in when you heard it. Reese Davis say at halftime, we may see them playing at the stroke of midnight. And I'm like, here we go. Some
I
nonsense is going to get cooked up.
I'm just
That was the fan in me. I was like,
I'm proud of that team.
as the
I we
I'm more
I was
proud of the
upset we
20.
lost, but
I'm more proud of the 2020 team that got blown out by Alabama when we trotted out 51 players to Alabama's
I'm also
85.
proud of that team too, dude. Those two losses
Kevin
don't
Warren
sting for
messed
me.
up so much that year.
Those losses don't sting though because it was we gave our best effort. I can look in the mirror and be like that those two teams, they left it all on the field. They gave their best effort. It just didn't bounce our way. I can live with that. I can't live with the Clemson. That was a fumble, man. That was a fumble. It's a
And
fumble.
the 2013 and 15 Michigan State games stung.
Those were terrible.
And then, I mean, yeah, I will go even farther. The 1998 Michigan State game stung. I bawled my eyes out for 2 days. For 2 days. I
Yeah,
was 10 years old and I bawled my eyes out for 2 days because we lost to Michigan State.
I feel that.
And then the
Um,
following week, we beat Tom Brady in Michigan. So I was happy.
I know we gotta wrap up here. We've talked for like the longest episode we've had in years. Quick last segment. Heisman predictions.
Played
Anyone?
Klubnik.
Cade Klubnik. I'm gonna throw one in here. Dante Moore. I'm on the Dante Moore
Ooh.
train. I wasn't on the train a couple weeks ago. I think he's gonna be playing some good ball late. I think the back half of the schedule, he's going to find himself.
I'll give you I'll give you my four guys that could go. Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, Clay Klubnik, and Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. Those are my four guys.
I got Dante Moore, Sam Leibowitz, Jeremiah Smith, Nicholas Singleton, Penn State.
Yeah, I think if anybody from Penn State's invited to New York, it's going to be Singleton.
Yeah,
I bet it's Drew Aller.
I mean, Aller could have the best player on the best team thing if Penn State goes undefeated and he throws 2 touchdown passes against Ohio State and they win 17-13. But
no one likes Aller though. I feel like
the draft boards do and the NFL does.
But I feel like the ball knowers, the voters are like, oh, it's Singleton. Singleton's the leader of that team, and he's the most important offensive player. He's a good receiver too. Aller loves to throw the dump passes to him. Like that was last year. That was besides Tyler Warren, that was Penn State's attack. Like they just throw it to the backside of the backfield. So he's gonna run for 1,000 yards and probably catch 500, 600 yards. I think he could be Heisman worthy.
Yeah, I mean, splitting carries with Katron Allen, too, that may take a little bit away from him. But David and I said this on our show, is Penn State's way to be successful this year is to lean on the offensive line to run the football and to play really good defense. And anything you get through the air is bonus. Not that they're going to be inept through the air because they're not. Aller's a good quarterback. But they're not going to have to throw for 250, 350 a game to be like, oh, we got to beat teams this way. No, they're going to line up and play bully ball. They're not as talented as the 2023 Michigan team up front or in the backfield that way. But they need to play that style of football to win those games. And obviously they have the better passer in that sense. So it kind of evens out. But that's Penn State's path to being successful this year. But if you're looking at my Heisman list, I've got Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Jeremiah Smith. And then you can look at a guy like Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. Arch Manning potentially, depending on the wins. But
Jeremiah Love. Love and Downs they're going to be, I think it's going to be similar to 2019 for Ohio State where we get 2.
Split vote.
And they split vote, where in reality, both of those players are probably the 2 best players in the country, but they're going to go with Cade Klubnik.
Why does the Heisman vote have to be like a Senate race? I don't understand this. Why can't they just why is it 2 schools have 2 guys there? Why do they have to split the vote? It's so stupid. It's like the SID needs to come out and be like, hey, voters, we as a program vote for this guy. Please.
All honestly, we as much as we love Caleb Downs, he's not going to win the Heisman. He might be the second best player in the country. We need, and this is the problem with Ohio State's social media team, and I love Jerry and Meg and their SIDs right now. We need to start promoting Jeremiah Smith for Heisman now, and not wait till the end of the season for Marvin Harrison like we did.
All right, here's a good question about this since we're on this note of Heisman trophies. And Dan, we shared quite a tremendous moment. We were all in the stadium that day. How many punts is Caleb Downs going to run back this year? Because, if you look back at favorite memories of last year, Dan, the one we had watching that together, you threw on my back.
Each other.
Yeah. So that was top 5 for sure.
I don't think he's going to return punts. I think he's going to be Brandon Ennis.
I mean, I would like to think he's gonna maybe get.
We're gonna get a kickoff return.
I could see him doing it against Texas. I could see him doing it against Texas. I'll call my shot there. If Caleb Downs gets one against Texas, he just needs to have a couple picks. Honestly.
Yeah, they're gonna set the world on fire if he does it against Texas.
If he gets that early, he gets that touchdown early and changes the game.
Turbo Rogers.
That's the thing for Downs to win it, you gotta almost like your bro peppers him. Where they give him the looks on offense, they let him return the kicks and make him that Swiss Army knife. Like, all right, we got to get the ball in his hands. But Ohio State's too many weapons to do things like that. I know Jabril Peppers is not nearly as talented as him, but it's just that notion of, hey,
we're going to return a kickoff for a touchdown this year.
Caleb, we're going to need you to play quarterback and receiver and be very mediocre against Rutgers and OU and Grambling State this year, and then. That's how we're gonna get you to New York. I get the Jabril Peppers thing. That was such a gimmick, man. I'm just it was so ridiculous.
Next week we're gonna debate this. Next week. We're gonna debate will Julian Sands or Lincoln Kingholz make it to New York next week? That we got to discuss that next week.
No, they will not.
I think they got a shot. I mean, they
If
got the
Sayan
best
throws for
receivers in the country.
300 yards against two of Texas, Penn State, and Michigan, it'd be tough to keep him out.
I just, I just, he's too small. He's too small for me, man. They, they were saying, I forgot who was saying it. It's like there's something about him that was like someone had an issue with. It's like not like a Bo Callahan, like he had no friends. It was like a really like he did something like kind of odd, and I'm like, I don't know if I like that. But like it has no indication how you play football though. But I think it was something like he was like counting calories or something like very odd. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You're in college. You're very
Well,
small. Like eat.
nobody's really seen a picture of him, so we're about to find out.
He's very mysterious. That's my thing. Like I'm not getting like entitled Kyle McCord vibes. Oh my God, my leg's cramping. But I'm just like, I don't know if he's a leader. That's my thing. Lincoln, he's a leader, that guy. That guy is a man's man. I'm ready to run through a wall for Lincoln Keenholz. Like I feel like that guy I'll go to war with. He might not throw a good ball, but like I know he can command a huddle and I know he will operate an offense efficiently. Julian just has a sick arm. Does that translate to quarterback play? Is my question.
I think it does.
I think it does
His high
too.
school tape is unbelievable. So
It is.
Sayan's good.
It is. It
He's
and
got to be protected.
I'm just like I'm afraid with saying, and we gotta wrap up. If we lose to Texas, I know this fan base, and saying doesn't look great right away. And then he comes out and like doesn't light up Grambling because it's not in a serious game by OU and then Washington. We're gonna be like start Keenholes. It's gonna be like the Stroud situation all over. And I get a kind of a maybe Stroud is a good comp to saying because they're both Cali guys and we question Stroud's like motivation a little bit at first and his desire and his leadership capabilities. So maybe I could see that with saying at
well,
first.
here's the thing too. Saban's got a veteran offensive line. Stroud's first year, Paris Johnson, that was his first start that year.
I
So
mean, Cass, it's the Ohio State though. It's always going to be mostly better than the other team. It's just I don't know.
I think
Old man yelling at a cloud right
I,
here. I'm
I,
just
I, with Ohio State this year, I think what last year's loss to Michigan taught the fan base and college football, as painfully stinging as it was for Ohio State fans, no one singular loss kills you, tanks your season, or removes your goals.
absolutely.
And you just won a national championship.
Yeah.
If Ohio State loses to Texas week one, someone has to lose that game. You know what I mean? I don't think the world's it will be very weird for Ohio State fans, I think, if the Buckeyes do lose to Texas, because no one's going to think the sky is falling or that the world is ending or that they can't go out and accomplish every single thing. They're basically going to be like, okay, beat Washington. That's going to be the mentality because
beat Illinois, beat
What are you
Washington.
logging?
yeah, it's like you're going to yeah, I mean, Twitter may be a little bit abrupt and crazy for
Like it is
about
now because
36
NIL.
hours. Yeah, but I think honestly, there's going to be that mulligan in quotes for
Here's
Ohio
what's going
State
to
or
happen,
for
and we
Texas
can.
at the beginning
Here's
because
what's going to
either
happen,
team
and
can lose and still
we can
win it.
end on this. Here's what's going to happen, and we can end on this. If we lose to Texas, they're going to blame NIL because right now they're blaming NIL.
Oh yeah, yeah. DG. He's gonna be playing. I can see J Book.
The Scarlet and Gray podcast.
Those bombs. Yeah, they're gonna play.
No, that's all I've got.
That's all I got. Blake, thank you so much. Everyone go check out Blake's articles on silverbolden.com. Also go to forevergameday.com, buy a shirt, promo code NUT. Thank you for everyone for listening to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. Have a great weekend and go Bucks, baby. And enjoy some football. We got Jim Harbaugh coaching tomorrow. Maybe his only time coaching this year. We don't know. Go Bucks, baby.